Bala MS has 2 decades of experience in the IT industry and worked with multiple MNCs including Citibank, Polaris, Dun & Bradstreet USA, and TransUnion USA. He is founder, director, and CEO of Hire One Incorporated USA, and Blackboard India, a world's largest edutech company. He is presently the CEO of Strat Infinity Incorporated, a global consulting firm in the USA, UK and India, and co-founder of Ken 42. Apart from the professional accomplishments above, Bala was instrumental in the technology initiatives of Government of Tamil Nadu and in building the tech captive global company ecosystem in the state of Tamil Nadu. He played a vital role in various technology initiatives of the Tamil Nadu Police Department. We are proud to welcome Bala MS to the Global Tamil Startup Investors Summit. Josh Foulger, the Managing Director of Bharat FIH Limited, a Foxconn technology group company. Under his leadership, Bharat FIH Limited has been the manufacturing partner of choice, which helps a diverse customer base build mobile phones, EVs, and consumer electronic products. Under Josh's leadership, the Indian operations have expanded their manufacturing facilities to 3 locations, Sungavar Chatram and Sri Perumbudur near Chennai, and Sri City in Andhra Pradesh. In October 2021, Bharat FIH R&D Center was established at the IIT Madras Research Park. This research center offers end-to-end design services and product development, including product design, specification finalization, tooling and molding of 4G and 5G devices. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MEITY, has formed an advisory board on making India a $300 billion electronics manufacturing hub by 2026 called Digital India Electronics Mission $300 billion, of which Josh is a member. Josh is a postgraduate of industrial engineering, specializing in robotics, from the University of Texas, USA. He has over 27 years of global experience in electronics manufacturing operations and supply chain management. We are proud to welcome Josh Foulger to the Global Tamil Startup Investors Summit. Dr. Sanjay Tyagi, presently the CEO of FinBlue, an organization initiated by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Dr. Sanjay is also posted as Director of Software Technology Parks of India, Chennai. He is responsible for catering the needs of IT, ITES, EHTP, ESDM units covering Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry and Andaman Nicobar Islands. In addition to the above, he is a member in the Board of Directors of Tamil Nadu State Government Initiative, Tidal Park Coimbatore Limited, and Mahanagar Telephone Nigam Limited for nurturing the IT sector. He has been instrumental in supporting 528 software exporting units, with total exports worth 37,100 crore rupees, and the creation of 3.23 lakhs direct employment opportunities. We are proud to welcome Dr. Sanjay Tyagi to the Global Tamil Startup Investors Summit. Chandramouliswaran V. Being a proud Loyola, Bowling Green, and Wharton alumni, Chandramouliswaran is an efficient person who is very strong in computer science and statistics. He started his career in 1995 at TTK Prestige Group, and then moved to American Express, Spark Capital, and then to PayPal. Being the site leader in PayPal and an advisor in varying startups and universities, he is also well experienced in data science, big data, risk and compliance, forecasting, payments, managing global teams, and working with C-suite leaders. We are proud to welcome Chandramouliswaran V to the Global Tamil Startup Investors Summit. Kalpathi Suresh, an Indian film producer. He has produced Tamil and Telugu films. He is an extremely successful entrepreneur and is now an active venture capitalist and angel investor. He started his entrepreneurial journey in 1991 with SSI Limited, which became one of India's leading IT and IT training firms. He has recently created the Kalpathi Investments, which focuses on encouraging young entrepreneurs to create new global brands. Kalpathi Group is also developing an entertainment business under the brand of AGS Entertainment that includes production, distribution, and exhibition. Love Today, Bigil, Matran, Kavan, Thani Oruvan are a few renowned movies produced by AGS Entertainment. We are proud to welcome Kalpathi Suresh to the Global Tamil Startup Investors Summit.
Thank you for the great introduction. Vanakkam, a very good morning, good afternoon to everybody. In the interest of time, we need to move fast for conducting the panel discussion, so I will ensure the questions will be really sweet and short. So I'll have a very quick context setting for co-creation, right? So you may be wondering why the co-creation topic has been starting the panel discussion first, rather the startup funding, everything is going to fall on the post-lunch. There is a very important reason which you will understand at the end of the session. So as you all know, India has emerged as an amazing startup country, enabling jobs for millions of people. I would like to give a very short statistics about the Tamil Nadu startup. Tamil Nadu right now has about 3,000 plus registered startup. And interestingly, $182 million of raised funds by the women co-founders. And we have about 4 billion funding across 306 deals and 210 plus funded startups in Tamil Nadu, and enterprise tech most preferred sector in India, about with 563 plus active investors. We have 5 unicorns, 3 unicorns, probably in the last quarter we might have increased. So having said that, Tamil Nadu today plays about close to 3,000 plus startup with $4 billion of investment. We are 4th in the country. There are a lot of other states which has more number of startup but less number of funding. In fact, that was one interesting session today we had in the CXO breakfast meeting. So since the co-creation is basically involving the 4-pillar ecosystem: the academia, industry, government, and the startup. I think this is what the co-creation mean all about. Today in the morning CXO exclusive breakfast meeting, couple of points emerged out of. One is the talent pool what Tamil Nadu possesses is something brilliant. Today, I just got to know from a couple of our global capability centers that they were able to get talented skills for AR, VR, and mixed reality. Another GCC was mentioning, they were able to get very good talent, a scalable talent in terms of deep technology. So what it means, Tamil Nadu is emerging as a talent hub. So the co-creation is really a big player. Suri is already been done in today's morning meeting. So with this short context of co-creation, I would like to take the panel for next level of discussion. Probably I would request each one of them to have about a minute introduction about what co-creation means to them, and then we'll have other discussions.
Thank you, Bala. I think if we talk about the knowledge industry, I represent the IT industry in the state of Tamil Nadu. And at the basic root of the growth of this industry in our country is the co-creation. The knowledge industry can only be created through the co-creation. STPI have taken all the initiatives since the day one, where we try to provide a conducive environment for co-creation, whether it is an incubation program or we try to give them the incentives which help them to grow. So co-creation is at the core, and we always feel that if we are able to, connect the academia with the industry and the government, that is the basis of the co-creation.
Thank you, sir. We'll go with Suresh.
I will probably talk from an investor perspective. Any investor who puts money in a business really looks for 2-3 key areas. One is whether the company possesses an IPR, which means is there an academic knowledge and excellence that the company portrays. The second one is how much is that accepted by the industry. So in terms of whether it's a proof of concept or initial business coming from an industry, it's important to ensure that there is value for the investor in the creation of this idea and the business. And third, of course, is to ensure that it is aligned in terms of the foregoing policies and procedures of the government. As far as there is alignment of these 3 areas, as an investor, not just ourselves, but all investors would be interested. If there is an academic excellence which creates IPRs, and there is an industry acceptance, and third is that it is aligned with the policies of the government. Thank you.
Thank you. Go with Josh.
Vanakkam, thanks Bala, and lovely to see everybody. Welcome. My perspective comes from my experience over the last 30 years. I used to, out of college in Texas, I had the privilege of working in a startup. We started a robotics automation company. Then I worked for two large companies, Nokia, and now with Bharat FIH. And so my perspective is going to be a little bit more on the hardware side, where we see global supply chains decoupling and aligning, and India has a great opportunity. So hardware is my setup, and my 2 cents here is going to be about how startups can partner, co-create with larger companies and be a part of the puzzle. We typically look at how to identify these startups in the hardware space, how companies can go about industrializing themselves, and how you can be into merging with the existing business so that we are able to in a way scale up. So that is really what my speech or my thoughts today will be about.
Thank you, Josh. That's interesting. Pip Mauli from Pip.
Thank you for having me. I think for us, co-creation, we look at it from multiple perspectives. I think just depends on the maturity of the organization. When we came into India in 2005, for us the approach was around discovery. In the morning breakfast meeting as well, we spoke about just a product mindset. And so having a product mindset is very important. And you look at the talent pool today in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, the talent pool at least has a perspective on product. You go back 15, 17 years that I'm talking about, the mindset around product did not exist. So for us at that time, co-creation was around just discovery in the community. What is the community up to, in the startups up to, and what can we bring to the table? And so coming from that space, we've evolved, right? We had an incubator, in Chennai, then we set up an incubator in Bangalore as well. And so we co-created with multiple startups over the years, not only in fintech, but in other areas as well. And our thought process around co-creation has evolved as well. We've acquired many startups over the years as well. And so it's become a vehicle for us as well to look at niche technologies, niche areas of investment that we might not, have the talent or the the horsepower to go after currently, but leverage these startups as a way for us to actually, get a feel for through these vehicles. And then if there is alignment of interest, as Josh alluded, then we go and say, okay, hey, you know what, let's partner more formally and maybe we acquire those startups, right? That's how we think about co-creation in this area.
Thank you, Mauli. I think now you would understand why I made a statement at the beginning of my context. This is going to be the most interesting panel because you see the 4 pillars of the ecosystem here. You have government, you have investor, you have the industry, you have another industry who's also worked with academia because he's in the board of many colleges and universities. So I'll just start from academic side, question to Mauli. So in the spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation in the students, what sort of transformation do you think practically can be possible, or is it needed from the academia side?
I think, great question, Bala. I think I would have given a slightly different answer if you'd asked me this question 5-6 years back to where we are today. I think the mindset on entrepreneurship is extremely high, for sure in tier 1 colleges, right? I mean, if you go and, sit across the table and interview students, you get a feel for what they have done. And a lot of times, they do a lot of work outside of what typically the curriculum expects them to do. That, I think, the exposure that they have to what is going on, for example, Y Combinator or many of the other vehicles that, typically these entrepreneurs use, I think it's a great ecosystem. In Chennai, Tamil Nadu itself, TIE is very active as well. So we've seen a lot of activity around TIE. Bala, you're very familiar as well. When we spend time at Triple IT Sri City, all Triple IT DM, Kanchipuram, both of these in universities, I'm part of the Senate. We get an opportunity to see the, kind of innovation that happens on the ground. Triple IT Sri City, for example, the Smart India Hackathon winners came from Triple IT Sri City. And Bala and I had an opportunity to meet, the candidates. That kind of innovative spirit today exists in the student community. And that comes from exposure. That comes from, events like this, events that they're exposed to in social media. Everybody talks about entrepreneur. It is the thing to do. And that comes from a couple of things, right? One is, of course, curriculum. The other one is just the mentorship that is available. Very interesting. Just before this panel discussion started, right? Before the previous panel discussion started, I just took a quick break. And, there was a huge crowd around Sridhar Vembu. You could see the energy that is there. Those kinds of role models create, the energy in the mindset among students, and they aspire. They want to, get to the same place. That's what I see when I interact with college students today.
Interesting, Mauli, thank you. So I'll just shift the gear towards government. So let me go to Dr. Sanjay Tyagi. Sir, you've been instrumental, at least I've been seeing you the last 6 years. You have built the Tamil Nadu IT ecosystem a lot, you contributed a lot. And today you have set up the STPI Center of Entrepreneurship, and FinTech is, across the India, FinTech hub is there, right? So from your perspective, and even from TANSEM, the Tamil Nadu government, TANSEM Fund and TANSEED, a lot of initiatives have been done. So my question to you, overall looking at, from the government standpoint, what sort of ground that we've been created to enable the ecosystem, and where do you see the impact is going towards a startup? Or what sort of transformation is still needed for the, because today I hear from a lot of startups that they're not aware of what's going on from the, what is there from the government side. So how do you think that this transformation will reach the startups in terms of the opportunities provided by the government?
I think, Bala, the STPI have started and tried to create the co-creation model for IT-enabled services in 1991. It was a very, very successful, and we are having a very vibrant ITS industry now in this country. We have almost, an industry which is contributing 7 to 8% to the GDP of our country. This whole process has, done a lot of capacity building. It has done the capacity building in the skills. It has done the capacity building in terms of the handling the international projects. And it has done one more capacity building in our country, I always say, and that is the aspirational capacity building. We are having the people who have served the multinational company for last 30 years over here, who have the ambitions to become the entrepreneur. We are having so many expats who are there for last 30 years in USA, who wanted to give something back to their country, and they want to become an entrepreneur. So we have seen this opportunity, and we felt that why we should not create those opportunity in our own country. And that is why another journey for becoming a product nation we have started. And that is why the Government of India, STPI, have set up the Center of Entrepreneurship in the emerging technologies. And one of such Center of Entrepreneurship have been set up in Chennai, that is in FinTech. Because of the legacy of the financial services domain, financial services hub of the world, the Chennai have been found the appropriate place for setting up the Center of Entrepreneurship in FinTech. We felt that the government have to again play a role to remove all the obstacles from the ways of the startups so that they can test their FinTech product in the real-time environment. And that's why we created a sandbox over here. We brought all the API of the government on that sandbox. We try to intervene as if it is required on the policy level. So we created a conducive environment. We are still working with the Government of India and Government of Tamil Nadu to whatever is required for getting that done. And that has started showing the result. If you see the 90,000 startups which is being registered in our country, if you see the number of the unicorns which is coming up, if you see the growth of this startup, FinTech startup in the state of Tamil Nadu, that is phenomenal. And I'm very, very hopeful that in the time to come, whatever we have created the funding mechanism in place. We are having the incubation facility in place. We are having all the technical sandbox in place. So probably in the time to come, the great growth will happen. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So moving the gear to the third gear, I'm moving to corporate, to Josh. So Josh, in your perspective, why don't you talk about what kind of partnership typically the multinational organizations look for the startup? When you say co-creation, I mean, you come from hardware background as well as software background. So how do you look at the multinational companies? What are the do's and don'ts from the multinational companies' perspective to look at the startups for co-creation?
I think it's a very important question because multinationals are going to, see, Tamil Nadu has a goal of 1 trillion economy. India is going to go to 10 trillion, and we need a lot of investment, we need a lot of technology coming inside across the broad spectrum of things, and I think it's very, very important. So whether you're, and I think multinationals and large Indian companies adopt either red ocean strategies for their products or blue ocean strategies, right? And I think it's important that startups need to understand where their play is, understand the space you're operating in. I think that's very, very important because companies are all, larger companies are always looking at diamonds in the rough. And so I think that itself is a skill which a lot of the companies don't have. But you know, you have to assume that they are looking for them. And then comes the challenge which multinationals have is how to polish these diamonds into something very valuable, which is, I think, more intricate part, literally and figuratively. So I think this whole identification or like Dr. Chandra said, discovery, I think is very important. Part of the process. So your read on the market, your read on whatever is going geopolitically is very important. Second, I think, is the technology grasp is important. I think 5G is going to be a great leveler. I think when I say leveler, I think it's going to, back to what Sridhar Vembu is doing, is once you have this kind of broadband connectivity, every village is going to have the same broadband connectivity. So you're, in a way, leveling or democratizing the availability of that. So industrialization becomes easier, right? The third step, I think, is how do you merge into this equation, right? So I think all of these steps, I think we need to, the startups have to be aware and be ready. We as a company, you know, are very actively involved in all the four pillars, Bala, as you said, working closely with Dr. Tyagi sir. You know, we are part of the IIT Madras Research Park. We have an R&D center there, which is, of course, developing things, but also looking at hardware startups to see how we could help them industrialize. And, you know, we are part of Chennai Angels, you know, which is, again, a very high quality organization, really looking at how to, you know, bring scale up, you know, companies. And I think this is going to be very, very pivotal for Tamil Nadu as the Honorable Chief Minister wants to take our economy, you know, 5x in the next, you know, 7, 8 years. And I think it's very possible. And this will also play a bigger role as India grows.
Thank you, Josh. I think first gear with education, second gear with government, the third gear was like a little tricky. We can't, unless until we are to a speed, we can't go on a third gear. So Josh is clear that the fourth is a very important gear. Unless until you are at that speed, you are on the safe road, you can't get into a fourth gear, it's going to be in trouble, I think the vehicle going to get stuck. So we're going to move to Mr. Suresh, asking him to share about, does it really play a role in their evolution, growth, and eventual exit? How does because whenever we look at investors and startup, we just typically look at the vanilla relationship, right? You look at the startup, the capability, do a due diligence, you go and invest. But in co-creation model is slightly different, right? Because you have an other third element factor of a corporate and multinational gets involved. From that perspective, how do you see the valuation? Because you have someone also ask you a question, why do you evaluate? Why you didn't evaluate? So with that aspect, how do you do an evaluation? How do you look for an exit? In what way you think this because this is an area which still the Tamil Nadu ecosystem is yet to get into co-creation a lot. So how do you see as an very successful investor, Suresh?
Thank you, Bala. So let me answer it in a slightly different fashion.
Yep.
And I will tell you where we look for investment opportunities. And it's interesting the combination of people we have on the podium. So one of the places that we look for is again based exactly on these 4 pillars. So if you look at academics, the best place to look for, and like George said, I'm also involved with the IIT Madras Research Park, the incubation cell. So for me, coming from an academic institution as to how it is assisting the startup community, the IIT Madras Research Park here in Chennai is a fantastic example. So that's one place where we look for investment opportunities. Many companies have come from there. Aether, which is one of the big producers of EV, is from the research park. Agnikul, which is one of the companies that's now looking to send rockets into low Earth orbits, again, that's from the research park. The second place that we look for comes from the industry. The Microsoft Accelerator programs, which are all created by the industry, again, to focus on the entrepreneur culture and to how to empower that. That's the second place we look for, which is from the industry pillar. The third is, I have also been looking into many of the Atul innovation labs in many of the colleges in Tamil Nadu. And there are some very, very interesting companies that's coming out from there. And it has really sparked excitement across the academic community. And we look for there for investment opportunities, and we are finding some great ones coming from there. The last is how it is being driven by the investment community itself. So Chennai Angels is a very significant example where there are multiple angel networks which are coming together to foster startups as a community. I will just spend a brief on the co-creation model itself, where some of the successes we have found. We look for co-creation opportunities in businesses where we are actually involved in, not just as an investor, but also as a business person. So we look for opportunities where we can help startups build something, give them the industry and the academic connect, and over a period of time, we also become the vehicle through which they exit. We actually have opportunities where we can actually buy them at a significantly higher valuations. And that also makes it easy for a lot of other investors to participate. Because like you mentioned, especially in the startups, exit is a key question, and most of the entrepreneurs don't exactly understand that. So in many areas where we have looked at co-creation opportunities, we not only look for the investment, but we also become the vehicle finally which provides the exit too.
Thank you, Suresh. I think this is a whole day discussion, friends. You all will agree co-creation is not a very big topic. But I think this panel provided you a quick glimpse of what this co-creation is all about from 4 different phrases, from academia, from the industry, from the government and the investors. But at the same time, we are on the 4th gear, but I don't want to slow the car without going into 5th gear. So let me throw a very quick fireside chat question, and no right wrong answer, but just you can choose the choices. Each one of you will get 2 questions each. I'll start from Mauli. Innovation, invention, curiosity.
Innovation and curiosity.
Innovation and curiosity, okay. Josh, assessment, leadership, design thinking.
I'll say leadership assessment.
Okay. Self-accreditation, accreditation body, affiliation. Self-accreditation, accrediting body, affiliation. This is for the academia ecosystem.
Yeah,
Which one?
What is
Self-accreditation, affiliation, accreditation body. I'll choose the answer, accreditation body. Okay, so book, iPad, laptop. Which one you choose, Suresh? iPad, okay. Chewing gum, candy, chocolate.
What is it, Bala?
Just
I wanted to hear it again.
chewing gum, candy, chocolate.
Chocolate, any day.
Okay. Josh, identity, recognition, appreciation.
Can you repeat that, please?
Identity, recognition, appreciation.
I'll say recognition.
Huh?
Recognition.
Recognition, okay. So Suresh, adaptive culture, risk-taking, fast decision-making. Risk-taking. Excellent. One last question to Sanjay Tyagi, sir. Admission, placement, culture, which is important for the academia.
Culture always.
All right. Put your hands together, my dear friends, for a wonderful panel, for throwing some lights on co-creation. And I'm sure this, setting up this tone on the co-creation will help you to follow up on the next following panels. And wishing you all the very best and a very happy new year. Thank you so much.
நன்றி. தொடர்ந்து நம்முடைய